She moved in next door on a quiet morning, and at first, I thought she was just another neighbor. But when she smiled at me, my heart nearly stopped. Because I knew that smile. She wasn't just my new neighbor. She was the girl I had secretly loved all through college. And the craziest part? She said she remembered me too. The moving truck arrived early that morning. I watched from my kitchen window while sipping coffee, half awake, half curious. A woman stepped out of the passenger seat. Long dark hair. Confident walk. And a smile that felt strangely familiar. At first, I thought nothing of it. People move into this neighborhood all the time. But when she turned her face toward the sunlight, my heart skipped. No way. It couldn't be. I leaned closer to the window. The same eyes. The same soft laugh as she spoke to the movers. And suddenly, a memory hit me like lightning. Emily Carter. My college crush. The girl I spent 4 years secretly loving. The girl who never knew. Back in college, Emily was the kind of person everyone noticed. Not just because she was beautiful. But because she was kind. She helped people with homework. Volunteered at shelters. And somehow remembered everyone's names. Meanwhile, I was just invisible. A quiet engineering student who sat in the back row. I admired her from a distance. Shared a few classes. Once we worked on a group project together. And that single week became the best memory of my college life. But I never told her how I felt. Because guys like me didn't end up with girls like Emily. After graduation, life moved on. People disappeared into jobs, cities, marriages. And Emily became nothing more than a sweet memory. Until now. I was still staring out the window when someone knocked on my door. 3 soft knocks. My heart instantly started racing. I opened the door. And there she was. Standing on my porch. Closer than ever. "Hi," she said with a friendly smile. "I just moved in next door. I'm Emily." Her voice. Exactly the same. For a second my brain froze. Should I tell her I knew her? Would she even remember me? Hi, I finally said. "I'm Daniel." She laughed lightly. "Well, Daniel. I hope you don't mind if I borrow your Wi-Fi later. The movers destroyed my router." "Sure," I said quickly. "Anytime." Then she tilted her head slightly, studying my face. Something in her expression changed. "Wait," she said slowly. "You look familiar." My heart pounded louder. "Did you go to Westbridge University?" I blinked. "You remember that?" Her eyes widened. "Oh my God. Daniel?" Now it was my turn to freeze. "You remember me?" She laughed. "Of course I remember you. You helped me pass calculus." I felt heat rush to my face. "That was just tutoring." She smiled warmly. "No. That was saving my GPA." The next few weeks were surreal. Emily and I started talking almost every day. Sometimes on the sidewalk. Sometimes over coffee. Sometimes she'd knock on my door just to complain about her terrible Wi-Fi. But something felt different now. In college, I was the shy guy hiding in the background. Now we were equals. 2 adults living side by side. And slowly, the old feelings came back. Actually, they never left. One evening she knocked on my door again. But this time she looked nervous. "Hey," she said. "Do you want to grab dinner with me?" My brain short-circuited. "Dinner?" "Yeah," she smiled. "Neighbors should probably know each other better." I agreed instantly. Dinner turned into laughter. Stories about college. Stories about life after graduation. Turns out Emily had moved back to the city after a rough breakup. She wanted a fresh start. And apparently, she said with a grin, that fresh start included moving next to the guy who saved my college career. I laughed. "You're exaggerating." She shook her head. "No, actually I'm not." Then her expression softened. "You know something funny?" "What?" "In college. I always thought you were cute." My fork stopped mid-air. "What?" She laughed. "But you were impossible to read. You barely talked. I figured you weren't interested." I stared at her in disbelief. "You thought I wasn't interested?" "Yeah. Emily. I had a massive crush on you." Her eyes widened. "Wait, seriously? For 4 years?" She burst out laughing. "We're idiots." I couldn't help laughing too. Apparently. That night we walked back to our houses together. The air felt different. Lighter. Like the universe had just fixed a mistake. Right before going inside, Emily stopped. "Daniel?" "Yeah?" She looked at me with the same smile that had destroyed my focus in college lectures years ago. "So, if we both liked each other back then, does that mean we get a second chance now?" For a moment, I just stared at her. The girl I once thought I'd never have. Standing right in front of me. Smiling. Waiting. I took a deep breath. And said the words I should have said years ago. "I'd like that." Emily grinned. "Good." Then she leaned closer and whispered. "Because I already told my friends I'm dating my cute neighbor." And just like that, my college crush didn't just move next door. She became my girlfriend. Funny how life works. Sometimes the person you thought you lost forever just ends up living next door. Emily and I started spending more time together after that night. At first it was simple things. Morning coffee on the porch. Late night walks around the neighborhood. Watching movies at my place because her Wi-Fi still wasn't working. It felt natural. Like we had skipped the awkward getting to know you stage and jumped straight into something comfortable. But sometimes, I noticed something strange. Emily would suddenly go quiet when certain topics came up. Especially when we talked about college. One evening we were sitting on my couch watching a movie when she suddenly muted the TV. "Daniel," she said softly. "Yeah? Can I ask you something?" "Sure." She looked nervous. "Back in college, why didn't you ever ask me out?" I laughed awkwardly. "Because I thought you were way out of my league." Emily stared at me like I had just said the dumbest thing in the world. "Daniel. I used to wait for you." My heart skipped. "Wait for me?" She nodded slowly. "After that calculus project. I thought you were going to ask me out. But you never did." I felt my stomach twist. "I didn't think you liked me." Emily sighed. "You really had no idea, did you?" "No." She leaned back against the couch, shaking her head. Wow, we really wasted 4 years. We both laughed. But then her smile slowly faded. And that strange look appeared on her face again. Like something heavy was on her mind. Daniel, there's something else you should know. Her voice sounded different this time. Serious. My chest tightened. What is it? Emily hesitated. For a moment I thought she might change her mind. Then she took a deep breath. When I moved here, it wasn't just for a fresh start. I frowned. What do you mean? She looked down at her hands. I was actually looking for someone. My heart began beating faster. Who? Emily slowly looked up at me. You. I blinked. Me? She nodded. I tried to find you online for years. But you disappeared after graduation. That surprised me. I moved cities for work. I barely used social media. Emily smiled faintly. Well, that made it harder. But a few months ago I saw your name on a community forum. So when I realized you lived here. She paused. I bought the house next door. For a moment, I couldn't speak. You moved here for me? Emily laughed nervously. When you say it like that, it sounds crazy. It is crazy. But yes. My mind was spinning. You searched for me for years? She nodded. Because I always wondered. What would have happened if you had asked me out? Silence filled the room. Then I asked the question that had been building in my chest. Emily, why? Her eyes softened. Because you were the only guy in college who treated me like a person instead of a trophy. And I never forgot that. My heart felt like it was about to explode. All those years thinking she never noticed me. And the whole time. She had. Then Emily suddenly smiled again. So, technically. She leaned closer. I didn't randomly move next door. I strategically relocated. I burst out laughing. You're unbelievable. She grinned. And you're the slowest man alive for realizing your college crush liked you. I couldn't argue with that. But just as the moment turned light again, Emily's phone buzzed. She glanced at the screen. And suddenly her expression changed. Serious. Worried. What is it? I asked. She hesitated. Then slowly showed me the phone. A message from someone named Ryan. My stomach tightened as I read the text. Emily, we need to talk. I know where you moved. I looked up at her. Who's Ryan? Emily swallowed. My ex. The one she said had caused her rough breakup. But the fear in her eyes told me something important. This wasn't just a breakup. Something was very wrong. And suddenly, our quiet little neighborhood didn't feel so peaceful anymore.